Hello YouTube friends, I have my cup of tea and today we are going to talk books for children. So if you are someone who doesn't know what to get a kid in your life, be it you are a parent, a grandparent, an auntie, or maybe even that cool uncle, and you know that the kid that you are shopping for already has way more toys than they're ever going to play with, this video is for you. So I'm going to show you some books that my children have loved for all different ages, some ones that I read in childhood and even my young adult years that have a special place in my heart, that I loved, that I think other people would love, and I'm going to link them all for you down below if I can find them so that you can go onto your favorite website and purchase them. So before we get started, I just want to say, if you are new, hello, my name is Meredith and welcome to my channel, mereofalltrades. Now, something that we do on my channel, which might seem totally unrelated to a bunch of books, is I usually do lipstick of the day. So today's lipstick is the one that I'm wearing, and it is by Bite Beauty. This is what it looks like. It's a bullet lipstick. It's a nice creamy formula. And this is their Amuse Bouche lipstick in the color Chai. I think it's gorgeous, and I do know that they are going to be reformulating, so a lot of their colors are on sale for some really affordable prices right now. So definitely go check that out, and I'll link it down below. So I have a whole stack of books right here next to me, and we are going to talk board books, we're going to talk storybooks, we're going to talk comic books, and all the rest. So to start off, I'm going to tell you what age group or age range that my kids really liked this book, and you know, who I would recommend it for. That's what I'm trying to say. So anyways, so the first book is an absolute favorite, and there is more than one of these. They have a Christmas version, and they also have a second book in the series, but this is Little Blue Truck, and the second book is called Little Blue Truck Leads the Way. My kids love both of them. Both of my sons when they were younger, and now my daughter who is almost 2. I would say this book is for anyone probably at least 18 months to about 4 or 5 years would really love this. So this is a friendly little blue truck, and he makes friends with all of the different farmyard animals, and he learns the value of, you know, helping his friends, and when you make friends there, then they're in your time of need. So it's just a really sweet little book, and I highly recommend it. This one is a great one for toddlers. So this grouping of books I absolutely love. My daughter is actually getting this one for Christmas, but these are board books. You can see they're a little more durable, but they are board books, and they are all based on classic literature. So this one, for example, is Little Women, and this is a playtime primer, so it's talking about all the different things like skating and writing and gardening, things like that, activities that you would do. So this is super cute, and this is going to be under the tree for my daughter, who is 21, almost 22 months. So that's what she's getting. We also have Pride and Prejudice. This one is a counting book, so it's like, you know, 6 horses and 5 sisters, because there are 5 sisters in Pride and Prejudice, and it's just super cute. The illustrations are absolutely adorable. I'm not going to show you the insides of the books because I'm not exactly sure on copyright materials and all of that, and I don't want to infringe on any copyright law, but this one is a great one. I absolutely love it. My daughter's middle name is Jane, so she was actually named after Jane Austen because I personally am a huge fan. So we've been reading this over and over and over. She likes to read it 6-7 times in a row, so I have it memorized at this point. We also have Sense and Sensibility. Now this one is an opposites book, so it's like hard and soft, day and night, that type of thing. So we've been reading this one. As you can see, it's had some love. We've read this one over and over. There's one based on Anne of Green Gables that I might get her for her birthday. This one is The Secret Garden, and this one is all the different types of flowers. So it's talking about like roses, and you can just read the name of the flower, or they also have some quotes from the book in there as well, which is really sweet. So we like this one a lot. And then this one you could really do for a boy or girl. I mean, you could really do any of them for a boy or girl. It's not gender stereotype. But this one you could definitely do for a boy. Now, this one is a colors book. And so each page has different characters from The Wizard of Oz, different things. And so, you know, like you would have the yellow page is going to have the yellow brick road, and the green page is going to have the Emerald City, and you know, the red poppies and that kind of stuff. So it's really sweet, a great way for the child to learn colors, and just a fun book that my daughter will sit and look at for long periods of time. So this is a great one. Another thing that all three of my kids absolutely loved is Moo Ba La La La. This one is by Sandra Boynton, and she has a ton of children's books. They are all just lovely. They rhyme, and they're almost like reading your child a poem. They're just very cool. They have a sing-songy manner to them. And this one is talking about all the different animals and the sounds that they make, and it's a fun one. So this one, I would say, this could even be like a baby shower gift, but it would absolutely be if there's a new baby who's maybe only a few months old and you want to get them some cute little sleepers and, you know, that type of thing, and maybe include this to go with it. It's absolutely a lovely book. Okay, so getting into the slightly older kid category. So both for beginning readers, but also just to read to them, is Go Dog Go. All three of my children absolutely love this book. They love to read it over and over and over. My older sons will read this to our youngest, and so it's just a great book. And to be honest, my mom read this to me and my brother when we were little, and this was one of our favorite books. Go Dog Go is just lovely. Then we have How Do Dinosaurs Say Goodnight. This is such a cute book. There's a whole series of these. There's one about how do dinosaurs go to school, how do dinosaurs celebrate Christmas. I mean, there's a whole bunch of them. They're all really cute, and so the dinosaur, it's asking, like, how does dinosaurs you know, get ready for bed. It has all the different dinosaurs and the names of the dinosaurs in there, and like here he is, here's the T-Rex on his bed with his blankie and his bear. So it's just a really fun one to read at bedtime. And again, my boys loved it. My daughter, I've read it to her too, and she's really liked it. So these two are by the same authors, so I'm going to go over these quick, but this is Goodnight Goodnight Construction Site, and then we have Mighty Mighty Construction Site, which is kind of the morning version, and then the bedtime version. My boys really liked this, I would say from like 3 to even up to 7 years of age. We liked this one, and this is a good bedtime story. It has some really beautiful illustrations, and it is like it does have a rhymey, poeminess to it, to the story. So really fun. I recommend both of these. And then one other one kind of in that same age range, I would say this is like kindergarten and early grade school. My second grader still will bring home the different Scaredy Squirrel books. So this is Scaredy Squirrel, and he does not leave his tree house, his tree. He has his nuts and he hangs out there, and he does not like germs or sharks or bugs or anything like that, and he is very prepared, and he has some anxiety. And then he gets thrown for a loop, and you get to see how he changes through the story. So this is just a really fun one. They have a bunch of other newer versions of it, and it's just such a cute book. So I highly recommend this, boys, girls, but I would say kindergarten, earlier grade school years. Okay, one sip. Okay, so my second grader is currently obsessed with all things Dave Pilkey. Now, Dave Pilkey is an author, and apparently he is the cool author to read at school. You wouldn't think that a second grader would have a favorite author, but he does. So Dave Pilkey has written all of the Captain Underpants books. My son is a huge fan of Dogman. Now, we own 7 Dogman books, and I believe the 8th one, it's called Fetch 22. They all have really cute names that only adults will get. But one of them is For Whom the Ball Rolls instead of For Whom the Bell Tolls. and just Lord of the Fleas instead of Lord of the Flies. They're just cute. But these are comic book style books. So they have a little, conversation bubbles in them, and my son absolutely loves these. He likes to draw his own Dogman comics, and he loves the books, and he actually asked for books for his birthday, and he has been absolutely loving them. So we highly, highly recommend this. This gets Carl's seal of approval, so he really likes that. And then, these two are here for Christmas. So these are also by Dave Pilkey. This is The Adventures of Super Diaper Baby. So I'm not going to talk about it too much, but he specifically requested these and will be very excited come Christmas morning when he sees them. So I'm excited because he's really getting into reading, which is, it's like half the battle of being a grade school parent is finding things they like to read. So I'm super happy about that. And then my older son, who is 10, has absolutely been loving the Sonic the Hedgehog comic books. Now I have two separate series of Sonic comic books to talk about, so I'm just going to grab book one here. So this is Sonic the Hedgehog, The Archives. Now these ones are like true comic book style, and these are actually vintage Sonic the Hedgehog comic books that they have condensed and taken several comics and put them into one book. So he has quite the stack of these, and he did request more of them for Christmas. So I will link the first few books in this series for you guys so that you can check them out. But he has been loving them, he asked for them, and he has actually been requesting to go to the library, to get more of them. So that is, once again, half the battle of grade school parenting. And then the second series that he has really been liking is also Sonic. Now these ones are newer. These ones are just coming out. Several of them have come out this year. We just went to get the fourth book, which is called, Infection. So it is all about Sonic and his group of pals battling the evil Dr. Eggman, and they are actually releasing a movie of Sonic the Hedgehog, and I think it comes out in February, so we'll be having to go see that in theaters. But my son loves these. He rereads them, and he's been asking to go to the bookstore to buy the new ones, so this is a win. So if you have I would say a third, maybe even a second grader if they're a pretty good reader, second, third, fourth, even if maybe a fifth or a sixth grader might really like these. So one thing that's here for Christmas is this Lego DC book. The Lego superhero books my kids have really been into, and this one just happens to be Batman and Superman, and they have really been enjoying these. And this is also sort of comic book style, but I felt like it had just a little bit more text in the actual book versus just pictures, and so they're getting this one for Christmas. Okay, and then some older children books. I would say these ones are going to be mostly, I would say, more junior high to high school, with the exception of maybe one. So one thing that I got, this one is very old and very well loved, but this was actually a gift from my grandmother when I was, I would say, probably junior high. She gave me Little Women by Louisa May Alcott, and this was the first book that I cried quite hard while reading. If you know the story of Little Women, you'll probably know what part I'm talking about. But it's just a beautiful book. It's a classic for a reason, and I think if you have a girl who enjoys reading, or maybe doesn't necessarily even enjoy reading, but actually might pick this up, I highly recommend it. It's a classic. It's a classic for a reason, and it's just such a great story. Also, the movie of Little Women starring Saoirse Ronan and Emma Watson, who is playing Meg. Emma Watson is most famous for her role as Hermione in Harry Potter. This actually comes out Christmas Day, so this would be a great gift to give if you're going maybe a little bit early, and then once the book has been read, take your granddaughter or your niece or your daughter to see the movie during the holiday Christmas break. So that's just a little fun activity for you if you like that kind of thing. Another book that is not nearly as well known, but is also an amazingly lovely story, It's by Louisa May Alcott, but it's called 8 Cousins. Now, this is a story of 8 cousins, 7 of which are boys and 1 of which is a girl, and it just kind of talks about their adventures. Now, this one I feel like could be read by a younger audience. I would say even like possibly a 10-year-old girl would probably love this, and I do think even into the high school years, if you have a girl who's a reader, she would probably love this. There's also a second book in this series, and it's called Rose and Bloom, and I looked for it but couldn't find it, but that one is when the 8 cousins get older and what happens as part of the story. So anyways, it's a very lovely book, and I highly recommend it. Also, this was a gift from that same grandmother. Okay, so another thing that I feel like if you're going to talk about children's books, you just can't not mention. Now, I actually read this as an adult, but Harry Potter, people, come on. I mean, do you need any more introduction than that is Harry Potter? This is just an amazing book series. It's one of the best well-written book series in my personal opinion. I love J.K. Rowling's imagination, like how she came up with all of this just astounds me. But they're great, and I would say late grade school on up, even adults. If you haven't read it, what are you doing with your life? And then 2 other books, and that one I would say Boys, Girls, doesn't matter. Another thing that Boys, Girls, doesn't matter, this is the book Aragon, and it's written by Christopher Paolini. Now this was a very good book. The movie is total crud. Don't waste your money or time watching it. But the books were very good. Now, this is a 4-book series. It's called The Inheritance Cycle is what they ended up being. And it was actually written, the original book in the series, well, they're all written by him, but he was only 17 when the book was published. So this was actually written by a teenage boy. So, but I enjoyed it as a young adult. I think I read it probably around like 21, 23, somewhere in there. And it is about a boy who finds out that he is actually a dragon rider, and he gets a dragon egg to hatch and goes on all kinds of adventures while riding his dragon and saves the world and all that sort of thing. So anyways, definitely recommend this one. I would say junior high and high school, male or female, would absolutely love this book. And then another book that's one of those, if you haven't read it, what are you doing, is The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins. Now, I would say that this is junior high, high school, and up. I absolutely enjoyed this book, and I read it, the whole series, as an adult, and I, once again, would say that these ones, I feel like the movie, I don't know if I mentioned this, I might actually be talking about something else. I've recorded a few videos, so bear with me. But this was an amazing book to movie transition. I feel like they did such a phenomenal job with the movies of these, but I still think the books are better. So I highly recommend The Hunger Games and the second and third books in this trilogy. They're great. Boys, girls, I think anyone would like it, and if you're an adult and you haven't read it and you enjoy fantasy or YA at all, this is a book for you. So anyways, that is all of my book recommendations. Again, I will try to link all of them for you guys down below, and let me know if you end up picking up any of them as Christmas gifts this year. And I just want to say thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell, and comment down below if you have anything to add to this list. Thanks, guys!